It's 21 minutes after 8 on AM Tampa Bay, and I just found a book all about my wife, finding joy behind the beyond the headlines.
Whoa.
Which I met her on Pulse Plus, Channel 13. But actually, this is a book that's written by Bobby Lewis,
and this is Channel 10, not
Channel
13
reporter.
Yeah, let's not get that wrong. Let's get it right.
That was many years ago, but it's called Finding Joy Beyond the Headlines. And Bobby, basically, how would you describe this book? What kind of joys did you find behind the headlines?
Well, I'll tell you, the headlines are not always joyful.
No.
You know, I mean, we read them every day. Certainly here in the news and on the radio and the TV. A lot of times those headlines can beat you down. I don't think we're breaking any news there. But I do think that for me, I have a very specific role at the TV station where I get a chance to find all the good stories, the feel-good stuff, the things that remind you that God's kind of working in your life still. And I really thought that this was the perfect way to remind people that, yeah, there's bad stuff going on. Yeah, the headlines are awful. Yeah, there's a lot of things that we hear about that we wish we didn't hear about. But guess what? There's really great things happening, too, and they're all on the pages here. Finding joy beyond the headlines.
At what point did you get the idea to come up with this? Because, like you said, on the road, your segment, you come up with all you witness it, and you encounter all these people and these great stories, these feel-good stories, like you say. So, at what point were you like, I gotta write a book?
Well, I would have been content with not writing a book because I got 2 kids and don't have a lot of spare time, and I would have been okay with that. But I was on vacation a couple summers ago and just kind of very clearly felt God tug on my heart and say, you need to write about this. I think that people need to be reminded that it's not all doom and gloom. We got that phrase, if it bleeds, it leads. Yeah, everyone's heard that. It's true. But there's a lot of other great things going on, too. And I think that you'll find those in the pages of the book because I find them every day and put them on TV. So if I can find one a day and we can compile them into a book, I think it's worth picking up and reading.
Jack,
we need an example of one of these.
We need positive Bobby around because we love if it bleeds, it leads. That's us.
It sells. It does. And a lot of people like that, but I think that it's important for you to have a balanced diet, if you will. Chocolate cake's great, but if you eat chocolate cake every single day for every single meal, you're not going to feel too good. You got to mix in an apple here and there. And if you balance it out with, just a few examples of what God's doing in our world, it really will brighten your day and you will find joy.
Give us an example of one of the stories you'll find in here. And again, the book is Finding Joy Beyond the Headlines.
Yeah. Well, the book is broken down into 7 chapters. Each chapter is based on a biblical principle that I found important, love and joy and perseverance, Thanksgiving, those sort of things. And within each chapter, there are 4 people, real stories of people I've interviewed and put on TV who exemplify that trait. So there's a lot to choose. There's 28 people in the story that are real people that live in our area. And I think it's probably hard to pick one, but if I had to pick one, I'll go with a guy that actually has a big event coming up this weekend. Brent Krause is a gentleman. His family lives in Tampa. His brother committed suicide in 2010. And in order to memorialize his brother, Matthew, Brent decided, let's do something that's going to make a further reaching impact in our world. Let's take bow ties, which is what is Matthew's favorite thing to wear. We're going to make bow ties. Mom can sew, dad can do wood, son can do the internet. They made wooden bow ties and started selling them and donated the portions of the profit they had to the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay to help prevent more suicides so that families wouldn't have to deal with the pain that they went through. And so he's got a big event coming up, Beer and Bow Ties, this weekend. It's a big fundraiser. They're trying to get over $100,000 this year to donate to the Crisis Center of Tampa Bay. It's a huge, huge goal. And that's just one of the 28 stories of the way God kind of showed up in a very terrible situation, spun it around, and kind of made people remember, oh gosh, there's terrible stuff, but there's really good things if you're looking for it. If you want to find
beer and bow ties.
Yeah, beer and bow ties.
But again, they're wooden bow ties?
Well, yeah, he makes all kinds, but that's the one that really stands out of the wooden bow ties.
Mayor Buckhorn will not be there. It's not a regular tie.
No.
Yeah, you gotta have a regular tie.
They're pretty cool. I've got a few myself. So that's just one. I mean, there's plenty of stories in there. You'll flip through and see inspiring stories, uplifting stories. I had a guy tell me the other day, a real tough guy that I trusted to read a little bit, said I cried on a couple of these stories, and I said, don't tell people that.
Dude, I cry during Adam Sandler movies. I tell people that every day.
Well, these were happy tears, not laughing tears, so that's good.
Oh, no, mine were sad tears.
Those were sad, too? Okay.
Yeah. Click. Really sad movie.
I think if you pick up the book, Finding Joy Beyond the Headlines, you'll be inspired by a lot of the true stories of people around town who really saw God flip the script for them. Things weren't going their way, and it turned around in a glorious way for them. And I think there's joy all around us if we look.
Yeah, I was just looking through it, and I saw a thing on mermaids.
Yeah, they're real.
But what is great is the way, and the way you have tied this to religion, really.
Yeah, there's close to 90 Bible verses in the book.
Yeah, we're missing that a lot, and it's disappearing more and more from our society today. That's why it's great to see it coming back.
Well, I think you will find what you look for in life. And if you are looking for the bad stuff and you're satisfied with just consuming, bad news all the time and moving on and accepting that is what the world is going to be, then sure, you're going to feel a little down about yourself. But if you're going to search out for joy, you're going to seek it out, you're going to find it. And I think that's what we find in the pages. In fact, I wanted to share a verse with you. They wrote it down because this is really one of the things that pushed me along in my writing. It's 1 Corinthians 16:24. Publish his glorious deeds among the nations. Tell everyone about the amazing things he does. And my favorite word is does, because we get these ideas of, God's done great things in the past. He will do great things, but does is the word. He's doing things right now for you.
Well, it sounds like a fantastic read. It's
Thank you.
Finding Joy Beyond the Headlines.
Yeah.
And Bobby Lewis of Channel 10, who has found that joy out there.
Can people get it online right now?
Yeah, if you go to findingjoybeyondtheheadlines.com, that's the best place. You can actually watch the stories that aired on TV on the website as well. You can see the links right there.
That's great.
So that's a cool thing. You can read about the people and then watch their story in their own words. So findingjoybeyondtheheadlines.com.
Well, Bobby Lewis, thanks for stopping
by.
Thank you. And we'll see you on Channel 10.
I'll be there.